Hello everyone, welcome to version 1.0.12 release. We're very excited about this patch, been working on it for a long time, and let's get right into it. So right off the bat, we did introduce a new prompt when you make a new game. So for example, you have this prompt, this will overwrite existing save data. It's just too easy to overwrite save data before. Here as well, so the new game screen, we have a little prompt here, selecting your seed and the difficulty. Things are a little improved in terms of UI, and you'll see throughout this build that things are a lot different. I'm going to do a random seed. I'll see what we get. We do also have an official... Oh, sorry. Someone said audio is too loud, so... Let's see. Test, 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 test. I think we should be better now. Ah, that's why. Alright, yeah, we should be good now. So, yeah, you'll see throughout this build that the UI has been totally overhauled. So we've all seen the intro video from last year, the alpha launch world trailer, but this is going to get an update at 1.1.0, so we're close. Someone said no new trailer. New trailer will be Monday. We've got a fire trailer cooking, but it's we were more concerned with getting the live stream on time and getting the patch out on time, so we will launch the trailer Monday. Nick, do you mind flipping the lights? So building world screen is the same as before. You guys should expect slightly longer build times for loading into the world for this patch because of all the new locations. But we do plan to get that build time back down to what it was before. So, you know, it could take 30 seconds to a minute. But the patch notes are live if you guys want to take a look. Really, this update is fundamental, and the reason for that is the villagers kind of lay the framework for the city building simulation. So without villagers, you don't have a village, you don't have a city. And since the game really is the genre defining feature being the hybridization of RPG and city building features, the villagers are integral. So that's why this update took quite a while and a lot of hard work. So we will see the villagers in action today. And the camps. So camps are new locations, and camps, you could think of camps as connecting villages. And we'll talk about that more as we find them. All right, so just going to let the stream stabilize for a second. And right off the bat, yeah, I think we're good. So right off the bat, the first thing I want to showcase is UI. Because it seems mundane, but I think it makes a big difference. So for example, now if you look at the top right task list and the bottom left, there's kind of a consistency with a light hue to the color scheme. And if I open up the menu, the completely new menu. So we've rebuilt the entire menu. You've got these nice little icons to, remind you of what category you're dealing with. Black highlighted buttons for the key functions, restart, quit to menu, etc. And we did even add a little data entry thing at the bottom here so you could see, what the item is. And then lastly, my favorite feature, depth of field, because I like to forget I'm playing games when I play games. So I'm going to crank down the settings a little bit, and we'll get right into some of these main features. So the first thing I want to show you guys right here is a camp. So we spawned into a random seed, and we already found a camp. Now, camps are really, from a design perspective, camps are here to... Essentially, camps are here to alleviate the traversal. So you're running between locations. Oh, there's a camp. I don't have to build, a campfire. I don't have to build a cooking pot. I don't have to build a base. I can just use a camp. And then this location, so these hero asset trees and the runes here, these are going to be resting locations. So basically you'll be able to go to these locations and do kind of a Witcher style rest. But now they don't do anything, they just look cool. So, yep, got the discovery system, came across a camp. And you can see there's a villager here. If I talk to him... So the villagers that are at camps are locals. So basically they're... And he'll sit down and go back to his little loop. And then he's got a little Sentius companion here, Yakaber. The villagers at the camps are local, so they're always going to spawn with local garb, local hairstyle, and the locales of each dynasty are what kind of define your character creation color palette. So here you can see, like, my character is from the deep forest biome. They have the darker hair, they're a little bit taller, they have the braided beards, and then this guy is from the coastal meadow biome, so he has a little bit pinker skin, he has red hair, he has the top mohawk, and his dialogue lines will be restricted to essentially, where he's from. So we'll see when we find traveling villagers, and those are villagers coming from other biomes. Now, last update we started with the cooking improvements, but this update we really kind of fleshed them out, and now we have a much more robust cooking system. We've got the prompt here for starting a fire before you cook. I'm not going to cook right this second. But yeah, this is new music track as well, so lots of new music tracks, but I digress. This is a good example of a camp because we have some resources. We have the villagers, like, little backpack in there. They'll have food and things, and then the most really efficient way to rest now is just find a camp, because before, obviously, you'd have to collect resources and build a campfire, but now I can just do it here at the camp, which is nice. But what I see actually in the distance is a traveling villager, so I'm going to go and try to talk to him. And there's some AI spawning and despawning. So you can see this guy, he's my friend here because he's from the deep forest. Let's see what he says. Fire-breathing giants. He's talking about Araxos. So he says, I've journeyed on several days to reach this meadow. This is like some subtle world building, but the point of this is to show that there are other biomes. So obviously right now we're only exploring one biome, but when we reintroduce the other biomes... here he goes. The deep forests are bountiful with resources, but dangers as well. So this is, if you're a first-time player, you come across a traveling villager, this is going to give you a lot of inspiration to find other, biomes, which is going to be quite the task. So it's all world building, but at the same time there is functionality because these villagers will eventually be recruitable. You'll be able to recruit them into your settlement. So I'm not going to deal with Dire Pyre right now. I want to keep moving, but first let's check out this temple over here. There's some minor changes to temples. How are we looking in chat, Nick? All right. Yeah, I see it here. It looks fine. Hey, we got a new temple sound. I mean, we still have to improve the whole temples, things spawning on top of each other. It has gotten a lot better in this build. So that's the new Sentius here, this Stagma. So Stagma is an aggro Sentius, and subtle detail here, but you can see the UI, just switching weapons now. You got this consistent black and white color palette, which is much easier on the eyes. But yeah, so I'm going to take on the Stagma here, and we're going to see how that goes. So you can see Stagma has a AoE attack. And also has a ranged attack. We're still working out some kinks with the Sentius combat systems, obviously, but it's a nice mix of ranged. There's a bug where Stagma's not taking damage, but let's see. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to get him. Alright, we got him. So yeah, there's a bug that was preventing me from damaging Stagma. Oh, so Trunks, the mount, you commented about this the other day. I was looking at the shorts comments. We did fix that. I'm going to show you after this. So, we have, yeah, I totally nuked it. But we have a pickup here. So this is a new pickup icon. It's much more subtle. Reminds me of like Batwa or Genshin. It's a subtle sparkle effect. We got our meat. Some UI updates here. I'm like obsessed with the UI now because we've changed all of it, but I'll keep talking about that. This is a new soundtrack piece, but I actually would rather use it for a... I kind of wrote it for like a cinematic, so I'm not going to keep it in the mix. I'm going to just use the tail end of it. But on the topic of mounts, we did actually make a huge update to mounts this patch. So now, if you go into your menu and you go to the Sentius tab, we've actually preloaded all of the new mounts for you. So I'm just going to load in, for example, Direpire. And again, you've got the refreshed UI, black and white color scheme. So if I spawn in, and the sounds are wrong, just, you know, try to take it with a grain of salt. But now we've got new mounts, which is pretty big feature. It's a little bit bouncy. We're still kind of getting the physics of it going. So if you're going downhill, it's a little bouncy. But I actually love the kind of smoothness of it if I'm just running through the grass with it. And you can see now the mount camera is very fixed. And I'll try the other mounts too to show you. So you can see, like, especially with the Direpire, because it's low to the ground, you end up bouncing a lot, which I actually kind of like. But all right, let's continue here. And there's actually a weird bug. There's a scaled up embers effect right there, if you can see. It's really distracting, but we'll have to get that fixed. We're going to be doing some hot fixes after this build. So, actually, Nick, do you mind pinging Tejas about this? Oh, I don't want another Stagma fight. No, thank you. Can you just ping Tejas? There's a PFX in the Yagi camp, I believe, that's causing this. Just in the Discord. Oh, I got taken out. So we got a new death screen as well, which is kind of fun. This journey is over. Try again. So we'll do a rebuild. It might be faster to do the rebuild takes a while. I might just do a fresh start. So someone asked how many Sentius total. There's around a dozen, but only how many? 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like 3 or 4 are tameable, but we have 4 mounts. So we have Megalop, Stagma. Oh, we got an update already. So Tejas pushed out a patch, so I'm gonna pull that. But yeah, we have as far as mounts are concerned, we have Stagma, Magmaton, Okamito, Megalop. And as far as spawning Sentius, Tokinu and Toki spawn in camps. Yakabur spawns in camps. Let's see, what else spawns in camps? Stagma spawns in camps. But the only spawnables that are tameable, like I said before, is Stagma, Magmaton, Direpire, Okamito. But you have to keep in mind that number is, it seems very low, but it's because of it's the different types of Sentius. You have aggro, passive, and neutral. Once we've mastered those 3 types, you know, it's a matter of not quite copy paste, but you know, that's where you start to really add, you know, dozens of Sentius. We have dozens modeled and animated, but if the AI profiles aren't all calibrated, there's no point in putting, you know, 10 half-functional Sentius in. So that's kind of our theory with that. I see Trunks said the bobbing is much more bearable. Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't notice it until it's fixed. Because like personally, it didn't make me sick, but people always kind of brought it up and, you know, brought it to our attention. But now that it's fixed, like I couldn't imagine going back, obviously. So we'll just be a second here. Like I said, the building world is essentially a little bit longer than normal because we added all those new locations. And what's happening there, it's essentially generating the whole world, and then it's assigning the nav mesh agents so that the AI can figure out where to walk. So that's what takes the most time. Yeah, there's that weird embers issue. So I actually know exactly what that is. Let me just write that down quickly. Embers issue. Camp is the new cook pot base. Sorry about that, guys. Just want to write a bug report. And as alpha, development goes, it is a bug fixing and bug reporting endeavor. If anyone's ever participate in alpha development, we'll produce 40 builds in between public patches. It's pretty crazy. All right, so we got another villager here. So she says so much land infected, things used to be different. And this is kind of I'll say that's the other funny thing. You can actually attack the villagers. So I don't condone this behavior, but you can actually dispatch the villagers. So the point of that is you're actually going to have a bounty system where you're going to be able to, if you do choose to be the bad guy and kill all the villagers, they're going to send like a battalion of soldiers after you, try to arrest you. So if you've played games like GTA or Red Dead, you have a whole bounty system. So that is where we plan to go with that. What I want to do now is let's look for some villages and also for some camps, because one thing we did do in this update as well, which is kind of a bonus and isn't even in the patch notes yet, I'm going to add it later, is the thing that we did do is we kind of got ready for the next patch. And the next patch is going to be the city building patch, which is the biggest patch we've been preparing for almost 2 years now. And in that patch, you're going to have new villages that spawn. And I've already implemented some of those. I'm just going to disable some features here. I've already enabled those in this patch. So we're going to find those. But we've come across a Yagi camp, and Yagi got a massive update as well for 1.0.12. So the first thing that we updated with Yagi is we added a new type of Yagi, which is the ranged Yagi. So if you see Yagi camp discovered, if you see up there that guy standing in the tower, so he's a ranged Yagi. And same with the guy, I believe he's inside that tower, which is a bug, but yeah. Someone asked, will be more shaders, more lighting, stronger shadows, more blue sky. Control for graphics will be more in depth, yes. I mean, you'll be able to control things like the post-processing to some degree, and improve the lighting. All right, so let's get into some Yagi combat. So my favorite thing is that now they ragdoll every time you kill them, or dispatch them rather. So if I take one out, you'll see he goes flying. Even from just regular combat. It used to only be from explosions. Let's take out the guy up there. So you see he goes flying just from getting hit, which is a fun feature. We still have to improve performance a little bit around Yagi camps. It's not that great. I'm going to try to draw this guy in and blow him up. There we go. So I took myself out there too, but... Oh, we got one left. Let's take him out. There we go. So yeah, there's a little bit of performance drop. I'm obviously streaming in 4K or 1440p, but could be better. Oh, this is another new song. I love this song. Kind of reminds me of Minecraft. It's a mix of Minecraft and Breath of the Wild. Another new feature inside Yagi camps. So now Yagi camps have these nice interiors. That tree spawned randomly. That's not supposed to be there, but... And then we also have chests. So, as you're familiar with, you know, most RPGs, you defeat the base, you get a chest. Right now, there's no real benefit to the chest. It just gives you a random item. But the chests are going to include loot, money, things like that. And then, obviously, we have our Yagi cookpot here. So, we can cook some innards, some... It's going to give me slop, but that's okay. That's funny. Someone said now they have culture. I feel bad. It's kind of true now. You know, you can see they have a life. You know, they have their meat, their tanning rack, their instruments. So it's a way of kind of humanizing the Yagi. All right. So you guys have seen the Yagi camps. Like I said before, I really want to show you some of the village updates in the camps because the human camps are really the focal point of this update. So we'll rest and we'll head out tomorrow for some human camps. And as far as balance is concerned, some changes were made. So now the player will not regenerate health at all. So you have to eat. And the reason we did that is that we found it was not really compelling. Like you didn't feel like you had to eat. So what that did was it kind of devalued the game loop because your health would just come back, so why even harvest resources, you know? So now that we actually have that fixed, it's more compelling to play the game loop. I can get some wheat here if I can eat. Alright, good. We got some health back. I'll get some more food. Someone asked if the weapons break fast. So, weapons do not have durability yet. But basically, the way it's gonna work is you have your multi-tool, which is this thing, and this can cut stone or mine stone and cut wood indefinitely. So you never have to make a pickaxe or like an axe. The benefit of making a pickaxe or an axe is it will be much faster, and it may give you more loot. So it's not completely, you know, going to be like, it's not going to completely replace regular tools, but it's designed so that the early game is more enjoyable because, you know, the average survival game kind of stunts the early game and intentionally prohibits you from leveling up. Like we just leveled up there. We're level 3 already. But yeah, so to answer your question, there will be weapon durability, but you will have essentially, you will have a unbreakable multi-tool and one unbreakable legendary weapon. And that weapon can be upgraded throughout the game. So, the idea is you have a kind of casual survival game loop. And then you can really focus on those city building features and those exploration features. So here's another camp. Let's check this out. And there's a total of 8 unique camp seeds. So we've seen 2 so far. There's a tree that spawned in this one. But there's 8 total, and then at each camp, the villagers are random. So there's a pretty significant number of random combinations. You can see she's just a local. Yeah, so the oh, there's Toki. Let's see if we can talk to Toki. It's kind of hard. The hitbox is kind of small, but you see the head IK, they'll actually track you. And she keeps getting up and sitting down. It's kind of funny. I'm going to go inside the camp. So you can see in here, the villagers actually have their own food. They have a backpack. I can't loot it right now, but you're going to be able to loot this. And this will also play into that bounty system where, you know, if you start killing villagers and looting their camps, then you're going to get a bounty. So we'll keep going. Oh, so someone said they found a camp with a lot of buildings. So that's a village. If you actually found a village, that's different. And villages are actually cool because not only do they house villagers, but they're going to be locations that you can acquire. So basically, if you come across a fully developed village and you're in the first era, you can purchase that village for a cost and it'll be added to your kingdom. So that's where the city building loop kind of overlaps with the exploration loop, where you're encouraged to keep moving outwards to find new villages and camps, and then you can add them to your kingdom. And ideally, you have this long, stretching, vast kingdom that encompasses a mixture of player-built structures and world-generated structures. Someone said, Botwa, oh, can you upgrade the multi-tool? Yeah, you're going to be able to upgrade the multi-tool. There will be a whole upgrade path for it, similar to your legendary weapon. And you can see, like, if I just stop here, there's a villager, there's a stagma, there's a magmaton, there's another magmaton, there's a dire pyre. So it's kind of random right now, but when we do the Sentius update 1.0.14, the Sentius update, you're going to have more distinct spawning profiles. So maybe the stagma, they'll only spawn in the birch sub-biome. Wait, I want to show you the sound effect. I love that. And now the temples, they have the plasma doors. You can see that's where you're going to exit the temple, that door up there. And that's 1.0.15. So it's the last update before 1.1.0 is going to be the Shoy Void update. So we're going to add temples. You're going to be able to go inside them. And also the Void raids. So that's going to be a fun update. I digress. So, yeah, my point was, if you look at the AI, they're all spawning kind of randomly. So you got a villager walking around. You got a dire pyre, a magmaton, a stagma. Stagma will only spawn in the birch biome. Magmaton will spawn in smaller groups. And then the actual AI will fight each other. So the aggros like dire pyre will start chasing the magmaton and so forth. So that's going to be an update, 2 updates from now that to look forward to. And here's another camp. So this camp, yeah, I think we've got a token so we could go check that out. Like I said, you can't tame villagers Sentius, but you will be able to soon. Sorry, not you won't be able to, but you'll be able to fight them. So what we want to do is, so you see here the villager, she's got a tokenu. And it plays a little noise. So basically, Tokenu is a domesticated Sentius. They only will spawn near villages or villagers. They protect them. And the point of this is that you have like hostile threats such as the Voidlings and the Yagi, and the domestic Sentius are designed to protect the villagers, because villagers are not sentinels. They don't have the Sentius gauntlet, that allows you to spawn in Sentius. They're just like regular people, and their companions are just there to kind of protect them and stuff like that. So we're going to rest through the night. And I'm getting a weird bug where I can't sprint. I honestly, I don't think I've ever had this bug. But that's why we do alpha testing. And I want to do a new mount, so I want to try out Stagma. And we're going to keep some weird stuff going on with the player controller. But yeah, Stagma is one of my favorite Sentius designs. Really happy with how it worked out. Me and Bisloba went back forth a few times drawing this, and it just came out fantastic. Leo did a great job with the model. So with the mount profile, actually, there's a small feature you guys might have noticed is hair physics. So now if you see his triple ponytails kind of bouncing, and in addition to that, when you are mounted and you start running, the character will actually lean forward. So it's like it's a subtle thing, but it does make a big difference in terms of the quality of life. So there's going to be a stamina and health associated with mounts like you would for any normal mount. It's going to be something that probably scales with the level of the mount. So let's say, you capture a Stagma, you level it up. It'll have inherent properties where each time you level it up, it gets a little bit more stamina, a little more health. And we're missing sound effects right now for like the walking and the jumping, but that's very small. We're going to add that probably in a hotfix. There we go. So we just found a village. Let's check this out. And there's 3. So there's 3 new village seeds. Nice. We got a village here. So there are 3 new. That's actually a great screenshot. There are, except for the ugly terrain in the back. But yeah, there's 3 new village types. We have the birch village, which has a woodcutter. We have the stone village, which has a mining depot and a farm village. And basically each village, there's going to be a little hiccup when I walk into the village because it has to load in the villagers. Yep. So, oh, there's a dire pyre in here. What the? All right, well, I guess we're going to have to take out this dire pyre. All right, there we go. So, yeah, back to the villages. So, villages they're not going to be too populated with villagers in 1.0.12, but in our hotfix, we plan to fix this issue. They tend to all hang out and kind of talk to each other. That's not really what's happening. It's a bug, but we do plan to fix this with a hotfix. So you can see here, actually, it's kind of funny. There's all different locales. Like the guy with the braids is from the coastal meadow, or sorry, from the coast. The lady with the dark hairs from the deep forest. The guy with the white hairs from the deep forest. So villagers are traveling villagers will stop in villages, but you're also going to have a lot of locals. You can see some villagers here talking. And each village has a lean. So like this village, because it has all of the trees, this is going to be a woodcutting village. So like if I go here, this is the woodcutting building. There's no one here right now, but there's going to be a specialist assigned to this. And what that means is if you were to acquire this village using the in-game currency, you would... and it's just a normal in-game currency. I'm not saying it's not like you don't use real money to buy it. It's what you collect from the gameplay. You'll be able to acquire this village, and now you can increase your wood production. And then there will be, a proportional amount of food production and resource production in general. But since it has a lean towards woodcutting, that's going to be the largest offering. So I want to show off also the town hall here. We're getting a little performance drop. I mean, it's to be expected. This is all new stuff. So in here, you can see this is where the shop will be. It's not functional yet, but in the next patch, city building patch, major update, this is going to be fully functional. And inside here, we've got some nice torches, a Magmaton skull. There are beds, so you'll be able to pay for a night of rest here. These are all new base building assets, too, I'll show later. But, yeah, so we're in the first era. So that means that we're basically in, 12th century Nordic, Celtic cultures for the Draconians. And that's why you have this primitive building style. But as you progress through the eras, you're going to get more and more elaborate town halls, more and more elaborate villages, etc. So that was cool. I think it's time we find some more camps. And now, yeah, we'll take Stagma for now. But I want to reset at some point and fix that weird character controller issue. Another subtle update with 1.0.12 is spawn offsets. So basically, we improved spawn offsets so that what used to happen is like this rock spawn in the middle of the road here, which isn't great. But what used to happen is you would not find a village for 20 minutes and then you'd find like 3 of them. And now what we've done is used a kind of a uniform offset so that you're more likely to find 1 village every 10 minutes rather than finding 3 every 20 minutes. So it's kind of a mathematic change to the algorithm, but it makes it more rewarding because you come across locations more frequently and they don't overlap, which kind of looks bad. Oh, here we go. So we've seen this camp already, but I'm just going to rest here. Yeah, and I think there's another bug that is happening now where the music keeps playing when you leave the village, which is kind of annoying, but I'll just play through it for now. And that's the thing is, when you do a big update like this, you know, if you add villagers, camps, Yagi camps, new villages, new mounts, you're going to break some things, and that's why we'll be doing hot fixes. So this is a road, and roads spawn naturally and they connect villages. So if you haven't found a village and you're trying to play the update, just look for a road, and if you follow the road, you'll find a village. Got the birch biome here. Little rock in the way. And we'll just follow this road for a little while, see where it takes us. Nice. Someone said they just ran straight for miles, found one in a couple minutes. That's great. That's what... Oh, I don't want to fight right now. Actually, maybe that'll fix the bug. Let's see. Direpire also will flinch now when you attack them. Okay, good. That fixed the bug, I think. Not sure. Might have. But, yeah, the Sentius combat is very primitive still. We're going to have a lot more, you know, depth and reactive nature to the whole combat loop to make it more engaging. Oh, here's another camp. Next to that weird embers bug. So this is a cool camp because we haven't seen any water features in the game yet, at least in the public builds. And right here we have a little water feature, which is kind of nice, and a villager. See if we can get up there. Beware of the night. Undead roam the meadows in the dark. That is right. Thank you, Mrs. Villager. So, I'm going to spawn in the last... Oh, 2 more mounts you haven't seen. So, this mount is Magmaton. You guys have seen Magmaton. I'm sure more than enough. It was the first mob we added to the alpha. So, Magmaton is a big boy. And one of my favorites to ride around. So, obviously, a big Sentius like this is going to have... more stamina restrictions than the smaller ones. Probably also have the ability to, you know, like push things out of the way, push other mobs out of the way. Little performance drop, loading a new tile here. Let it recover for a second. Someone said it looks awesome. Thank you very much. It's a team effort. Team's been working on this for a long time, working really hard. And yeah, we're excited. We're excited. You know, we're finally getting to what we would call the MVP, where we have all of the features for the minimum viable product. So we get city building in. That will really complete that quad. I'm not sure. I was going to say trio, but it's the, you know, the quadruple feature set that will complete the game loop. Here's another camp. So this is a new one. I don't think we've seen this one. Let's see. Yeah, this is a new camp. Got our villager here. Again, so the coastal meadow... So basically, the coastal meadow is home to the locale of... You got the Yakabur sound effect, little animation. So basically, the coastal meadow locale is kind of depicted by orange, blonde, red, and light brown hair colors. They have these top cuts, which is a Viking hairstyle, and medium build, not too tall. And what this is like, so like I was saying before, when you build your character, you're going to pick a locale, and that will kind of narrow down the options for your skin tones and your hair options. So it's like kind of that thing where, you know, if you have too many choices, it's hard to make a decision. So we're kind of doing that for you in a little bit of a way, and making it so that we're making it so that you're still having creativity with the character creation, but when you pick a biome, you're gonna fit in, because you know you're gonna look like the locals, and then when you go to a new biome, it's gonna be that much more intense, because it feels like you're really going out of your comfort zone to a new place. You know, they have different garb, different hairstyles. So even within each dynasty, you have the locales, which make a huge difference. I'm going to load in, let's see. I'm going to load in the final mount, which I haven't showed you guys, which is Okamito. Now, I know if Casper's watching, they're going to like this. But yeah, so you can actually ride the Okamito, which is a little... It's a little bit, it's not, I wouldn't say janky, it looks a little strange, the way the character is positioned, because the legs are like sticking through, but it's actually quite fun. And there's a village up there we'll check out. But the Okamito can also swipe, so if you check it out, you can do combat from the Okamito, and I believe you can damage Yagi, but we have to polish that up a little bit. Someone said, Polymori said, nice advantages entering skylines. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a product of the world algorithm, and it's matured quite a bit. So it's nighttime. We've got some void. Let's take out this void here. I can't let this unauthorized void activity continue. Yeah, we got to take these void out. We can't allow this. Yeah, someone said having the character hug from the back. I was kind of thinking that would work better. Like, let me just do it again and show you. But yeah, I think kind of like the monkey from the back would maybe look a little better. When the character's running, it doesn't look as bad. Maybe the legs just need to go down, but we'll see. So this is the farming village, if I can get in here. And you're going to see some performance drop when you find villages as all those villagers load in. But we were covered here. Yeah, so we're going to check this village out. I just want to build a campfire first. And I'll briefly showcase some of the new building features when I do that. Once again, multi-tool in action. This would have, if we were in a normal survival game, you know, I would have had to go and punch trees now and build a pickaxe and all that stuff. So it's just not what this game is. The game is, it's not a survival grind. All right. So now I want to show you guys the new base building UI. So if you guys recall, we had a very primitive base building UI before, but now not only do we have all of the categories right here on screen, but you can also see your hotkeys on the left. And if I do select, for example, to disable the player, that color inverts and I can actually see that, you know, it was done. I don't need to go back and check and make sure I've done it. So we have this, and then we have new categories. So we have a whole interior category now. I believe the build prices are disabled for interior stuff if you want to play around with it for this build. But like, for example, you could build a bed, which is not functional yet. We have chairs. We have fireplace. We have totem poles. So lots of new decoration options as well. And most importantly, a campfire. we go. Someone asked, will there be another Kickstarter or promotion? So Steam doesn't really allow you to have consecutive crowdfunding campaigns as far as we know. So the best way to get into the alpha is going to be just stick around the live streams. We're going to give away, 10 plus keys today after the stream. Every major update, we're going to give away some keys. So just stay tuned for the updates. And then when we do have free-to-play events like SkyCon, which is still planned for this year, you'll be able to play for a whole week for free. So there'll be options. So you see here again, we have all the traveling villagers hanging out together. So these guys are all from, except for the blonde dude, these guys are all from the deep forest. So the deep forest, you have these taller dudes with the bigger builds. And the reason for that is a colder temperature. Someone actually just commented about temperature. This guy here, he's from the ocean biome. They also have a taller build. He's got a blue tattoo. The white hair guy. So the white hair is a trait from the deep forest. So if you pick deep forest locale, you'll get to pick that hairstyle. This lady as well is from there. Deep forests are bountiful with resources, but dangerous as well. And then each house, they're going to have inhabitants. You'll be able to go inside all the houses. Right now you can't, obviously, but we're going to check out the town hall, see what that's like. And there's a stagma that's spawning here. There won't be wild Sentius spawning in villages. More villagers here. So this is supposed to be a farming village. And what that means is, like I said before, if you were to purchase this village, you would... Essentially, if you were to purchase this village, you would buff your farming stats. You would increase your farming production. Whereas before we were in a woodcutting village, if you were to capture that village, you would increase your wood production. A couple questions here. One is, how will temperature affect gameplay? So we do plan for temperature to be similar to other survival games where in extremes you will need to wear clothing, or clothing may provide a buff. So if you're in the magma biome and it's really, really hot, you don't have the right gear, you may start to lose health, or you may have decreased stamina. If you're in a frozen biome, the same thing would apply. Again, the game is not a hardcore survival game, so it probably won't, live up to like super intense survival games. I mean, even like No Man's Sky can be kind of brutal with the whole environment stuff. It's not going to be like that. It's much more relaxed. Lots of cool stuff. Monster taming. What is their main big goal? Okay, so the main big goal for the player is very simple. You have two real goals. The first goal is to stop the void expansion. So you see at night, there are all those zombies that spawn, and you have those void locations that spawn. So the story... Oh, and here, now we're in the town hall. We've got the villager here. So the story of the game is you got to stop the void. So you got to work with the other players to defeat the zombie infection, the parasitic infection, construct Shoi locations, go to the temples and complete the temples, and then eventually go to pyramids and connect continents and travel to new continents. So there's this overarching story of construction where you're building these high-tech locations, connecting them, reactivating these old temples, and defeating the void. So that's like the core story. But then you have the player-driven motivation, which is to build a giant, thriving kingdom. So it's like any survival game, simulation game, where the end game is like, you have a bunch of town halls, you're producing a lot of resources, you have a lot of villagers, and then you're balancing all of those things. The monster taming, the base building, and the open world traversal are all kind of wrapped up into what we call like the open world survival craft game loop. So that's like, your standard run-of-the-mill survival game with RPG elements. You run around, you have fun. But all those things are designed to do is to make the massive procedurally generated world full of content. So it's not like we expect players to spend, their entire playthrough just doing open world monster taming and fighting and RPG stuff. That's there to make the destination. So like in between each village, you want that game loop to be fun. Because normally a city building game is a small scope. you just have like a little tile and you have your, you know, your town hall and stuff. But because you have this giant procedurally generated ongoing map, you have to have a lot of stuff to do because there's this huge amount of terrain between locations. So that's why we have all the other features. All right, so yeah, welcome traveler. Look like you could use some rest. So when you go to taverns, town halls, you'll be able to book a night of rest, talk to the villagers, maybe get some mead. No, actually, there's no alcohol in the game. That's like an age rating restriction. But yeah, so these are the town halls, and you'll be able to build your own town halls just like that. Someone else asked, didn't hear about the game until after the Kickstarter and missed all the other live streams. What's your favorite part of the development for the game? That's a tough one. I would say that my favorite part of development, and I think I could speak for the team on behalf of this, is just seeing the concepts go into reality. So, you know, we came up with the concepts for the camps months ago. Gail, our concept artist, made some concepts, and then, you know, Leo got to modeling, and you know, it goes down the pipeline, and then 3 months later, it's actually playable, and I think that's probably the most, you know, satisfying part. Someone said, will you add damage for stepping in fire? Yeah, so the whole fire system we want to build on a lot. You know, we want to make it so that not only can fire damage you, but also, like, you could use fire to start a fire, you know what I mean? You can just go up to a campfire and swipe at it, and it would actually, you know, ignite it, and kind of like Batwa, rather than you having to ignite the fire using just the action button. Yeah, no problem. Here's another camp here. Let's check this camp out. And it's funny because it's not like, so for example, No Man's Sky is completely random. Like, the actual world and the monsters are random every time. Here, we have very specific things that are random, and then some things that are not random. So, like, this camp was hand-created. It was concepted and hand-created. So it always looks nice and presentable, which is a hybrid version of procedural generation. So, like, we know it's always going to look presentable when someone finds this camp. But the actual location of the camp and also the type of camp that spawns is completely random. So it's random, but it's not random. Just rest here quickly. Ah, yes, Gail, our lead concept artist, environment artist, he just piped in. He said he's proud of what we've achieved, and I agree, Gail. We're doing great things. We just got to keep at it. So, I actually am really annoyed. This is a cool camp. That's actually a nice screenshot. I'm really annoyed that the music bug is still going, so I'm going to restart, and then we'll get right back into it. So just bear with us for 1 minute. I'm going to quit to the menu. So, yeah, this is 1.0.12 to give you guys an idea of the roadmap. 1.0.13 is character creation and city building. So that will cover a lot of core systems. And then after that will be Sentius. And then lastly, Shoei Void systems. And at that point, we finally get to start adding new biomes and new dynasties. I know you guys have been very patient. We've been working with just the Draconian Dynasty for how long now? Almost 2 years of just alpha development with the Draconian Dynasty. So it will be a much needed refresh when we add new biomes and then new dynasties. So I really appreciate the whole team. We really appreciate everyone's patience because, you know, everyone has been waiting for Foryoku, Rakuhito, you know, these other dynasties. Yeah, Jeff, that's actually, I'm playing a debug build. Your build should say 1.0.12. I'm on the pre-release 1.0.11.37 or something like that, I think. But you guys, on public, it should be 1.0.12. Let's see. The red leaves. Yeah, that's my favorite asset as well. I love the birch trees. Server like Valheim, you can have your own server. Yeah, so you'll be able to have your own server, have a few friends on it. We don't plan to have huge servers anytime soon. It'll probably be 3 to 5 players. We'll do co-op, locally hosted. You don't have to rent a server or anything like that. How are numbers, Nick? Should we continue? What are we looking at? Oh, it's about the same. Okay, good. All right, we'll continue. So we're back in, guys. Fresh seed. And I start a new seed every time I play because I just want to see what are the edge cases, you know, like does the world generation break on a certain seed? Do you spawn in a bad location? But Tay just built a system where you used to sometimes spawn like halfway up the cliff and then you'd have to jump off, but he's resolved that, which is great. It's very rare for that to happen. Someone asked, is there PvP? There will be PvP, yes, but really it's designed to be a PvE experience where PvP will likely be something that you want to do on dedicated like matchmaking servers, but we're still a long ways away from that, so I don't want to get too far into it. This is another subtle update. If you look at the rock assets, I tried to, in this patch, improve the scaling of the textures. So, I mean, obviously it's a stylized look, but now if you look at the rock, there's like a gradient. You have big details, little details. And the point of that is when you have this huge asset, if you try climbing it, you know, it like right here is not, it's not the best spot, but you could see that there are, oh, there's a little artifact there, but you could see that there's more detail than there was previously, which is really important because when you're climbing something this big, you know, if it's just a big black slob, you can't really tell if you're moving even. Oh, we're falling down. A little ragdoll for you. Oh, welcome, Space Links. Yeah, we'll keep going. I wasn't sure how many people would stick around, but I think we'll keep going. So, anyone's tuning in now, this is 1.0.12 Villagers and Camps update. And conveniently enough, I just found a villager in a camp. So, this is a traveling villager. And normally traveling villagers will carry a backpack, but here we have just a regular villager. There's Stagma, the new Sentius that you can tame in this build. No worries, Karen. I believe I'm saying that correctly. But yeah, that's why we do the live streams. You know, we do the live stream so community can check in on development, ask us questions. So feel free to ask. And this is our first villager camp with a Stagma, which I think a lot of people are really gonna love the Sentius because it's like it's cute, but it's also elegant. All right, let's see. Can we talk to villager? It's just a hitbox issue. It's a little bit too close to the Stagma. But you can see they're both looking at me. Yeah, I think someone says it's cute. It's going to be sad to see when someone starts a Stagma meat farm, though. That's going to be sad. Oh, we don't have any food yet. Yeah, so this patch as well for new players or players who have the alpha. But, yeah, people who have the alpha but haven't actually jumped in yet. This patch is a little bit more hardcore because the health will not regenerate. So you have to actually cook, you have to find food, and, you know, you have to really play it like a survival game. Prior to this patch, you could just walk around and it would re-heal. Oh, hey, someone just joined first time in the live stream. Last time we usually go for an hour, but you know, as the game is getting deeper and deeper, I mean, I'd like to stream for 10 hours to be honest with you, but we're not there quite yet. You know, the gameplay loop isn't that far along, but once it is, I believe me, I'd like to sit here for as long as possible. Because someone asked before about the mix of features and the layered gameplay systems, the systemic nature of them lends itself to long playtime. Because if you think about, like, what are the games that people play the longest at one time, it's usually survival or simulation games. Because both, and they're kind of the same in some ways, because a survival game is simulating the risks and the, you know, and the challenges associated with surviving. Whereas a simulation game, like a city building game, is simulating the outputs of systems like villager systems, hostile AI systems, resource management. And those things require constant attention. Like, if you let your survival maintenance get out of whack, you don't have enough food, you're going to die. if you don't do the required maintenance to your village, it's going to fail. So we combined those two things together and made the world randomly generated, so it lends itself to long play sessions. Assuming that, gameplay is good, it's bug free, it's performant, and that's the challenge of the alpha has been continually, how do we add all this content and keep the game running well? And this patch is pretty good. I've tested it on our QA lab. We have low-end devices, high-end devices, and it's pretty good. It's definitely not our best performing build, but it's come a long way. And we've got a village down here. You guys can see a village in the distance and a camp. I'm going to hit the camp. And if anyone just joined in, they actually haven't seen the new mounts, so let me get the new mounts in. Got Stagma here. And Stagma was actually a redesign. So if you guys, anyone has, Nick, do you want to slap Centipedia in the chat? Just a link to the Centipedia. Thanks. So basically, the Centipedia, if anyone's following for the first time or doesn't know, the monsters in the game are called Sentius. And the Centipedia is like the Pokédex. It collects all of the known Sentius. And there's another camp. So we got a Sheeptra. This is another Sentius you guys probably haven't seen. So Sheeptra is a domestic Sentius. And Sentius are multifaceted. They're, unlike Pokemon, they can be harvested for food, but they also have special attacks like Pokemon. And the way the Sentius fit into the game narrative is that the Shoy, these aliens, essentially, they created a technology that allows you to control them. And when combined with like a great, a great sentinel, you can have this great, army, what have you. And you'll have 3 Sentius in your party. All Sentius over medium size can be mounted. And we just finished the Foryoku Centipedia. Oh, there's a cooked dish. We just made a cooked vegetable. So the Foryoku Centipedia is for the next dynasty, Foryoku. But for the Draconian dynasty, which is what we're playing right now, they possess the element magma. And that's why you see a disproportionate amount of magma-type Sentius in this dynasty. I want to play around a little more with the Dire Pyre. I think it'll work. Let's see. Might be a bug. If you switch to Stagma, you can't switch back to Dire Pyre. It's all good. We do... Basically, the way things run here is when there's a new build, we do what's called a build report. And the build goes through 4 or 5 different PCs, all of different hardware spec, and we play the game extensively. After the build test, we get this big, long QA list of like 20, 30 items. And then, the dev team just goes down, tick, 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 excuse my slip there, tick, 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 going down the list of QA items and completing them. So, like, in a build like this, you guys are going to see it's, on my screen, 1.0.11.37. That's 37 iterations on version 1.0.11, just to get to 1.0.12. I think 1.0.11 was 50 iterations from 1.0.10. And those numbers will probably start to decrease a little bit as the code base matures even more. A little sound bite. Another village. So you see here, actually, we came across this village before... Sorry, this camp. But it was a different villager. So that's what I was saying, where the villager assigned to each camp is randomized. You got Tokenu, which will be tameable. Again, you can't tame villagers Sentius because they're owned by the villagers, but you will eventually be able to tame your very own Tokenu. Got a Magmaton. And again, no sound effects. In villagers, you can't interact from the mount, but villagers will stop to talk to you. So you see, she says, so much land infected, things didn't used to be this way. And the reason that she's saying that, and it's actually not that apparent, and I'll find a void egg to show you, but that's that overarching story, is that the land is becoming infected, and each dynasty, let's level up, essentially each dynasty has gone through the same struggle. Each dynasty has been infected by the void parasite, and they've all been contacted by the Shoi alien race and been given this opportunity to fight back. And that's where we see the temples, like the one right in front of us. And I see a camp over there. Check out these locations. Got a little stutter there. Still stutter on chunk load. We call it chunk load, and you go to a new location and it loads in. Spacelink said, there's a temple. Spacelink said, sheep, okay, take my money now. And dang, want it more. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, the funny thing is we're still like in the early days. I mean, this is one biome of one dynasty of one era. There's 3 eras, well, more than 3 dynasties, 3 dynasties, and 5 biomes per dynasty. So we are early days. Early days. A lot more content to come. Another villager here. Got a Yakuber. And what I was saying before about the roads, so like, yeah, I want to check in all the villagers, make sure that they're functioning. But I don't want to fight these guys, so I'm going to run. So basically, the roads connect villages. And what I was actually just thinking the other day, I was like drinking a coffee and I was talking to my wife and I was like, wow, I just had an epiphany. The whole point of building your kingdom can be incorporated into the village camps, because if you really want to be crazy and build a gigantic kingdom, you could connect your kingdom into the camps along the roads and even connect that to a village and have, you know, a giant kingdom. So you could look at the world as like it's a survival sandbox, but it's the foundation for your kingdom, because you have these static locations like villages, camps, roads, and in that way it's acting as like an empty palette for you to build your kingdom. Yeah, these are the roads. They're kind of subtle. They're just dirt right now, but that's based on the era. So like you'll be able to like go through here, and now I can clear out this road if I wanted to. Exactly. Because Christopher said camp trade routes. Exactly. Because the camps spawn along the road, so now you can reinforce your camps along the road, put a fence along the road. I mean, it's really up to you. Oh, there's this bug. Yeah. There's been a weird bug happening where you get stuck mining. I don't know why. We think it might be performance-based, but let's see. Yeah, it's a weird bug happening with that. I won't deal with it right now. Other pickups are working fine, but yeah, that one's still a problem. Is there a large performance yield in modern builds, or is gameplay solid on older systems based on the data you guys have? I'm a little confused by the question. Guy, sorry, I think that's how to say it, but large performance yield in modern builds. Yeah, perhaps you could elaborate, but basically the way that the build performance is now is that each time we do a patch, we destroy performance. Because we add all these new things. We add the camp locations. We add more villagers. We add villagers, period. We add new Sentius. And it basically destroys performance. Then the rest of the development cycle is getting back performance to where we were last patch. And that's kind of how things are going to go until we reach 1.1.0. As we reach 1.1.0, most legacy systems will become mature. So the AI spawner, the combat systems, the Shoi systems, the city building systems, they're all going to become mature, so that we really turn into more of a content and progression machine. And the performance should be more consistent at that point, because all of the gameplay features will be more mature. The biggest... Oh, yeah. So, yeah, no, you get more performance. Someone's asking if you get more performance out of, like, a better PC. Yes, you do. I'm playing on a 4070 right now because I'm streaming in 1440p. And I'm getting, let's see. I'm getting 60 FPS, 50 FPS, up to 60. More like 55 FPS. I mean, it's hovering. But the big difference you'll notice on low-end devices is stutter. So, like, if I play on our lowest-end QA device... there is significant stutter. I can get 60 FPS for 10 frames, but then as you're moving, it's stuttering. And as we port to consoles and to especially platforms like the Switch, there are going to be concessions made. I mean, we don't know exactly what yet. It'll probably be things like model density, try count, texture resolution. There will be concessions, but the nice thing about the Switch is you're dealing with a tiny little screen. So, even if the textures are half the resolution, if you're on a tiny little screen, it doesn't look bad at all, even when it's in the upscaled mode. Yeah, I love that piano sound. Another villager here. She did kind of a funny thing with her mouth when she stopped, but she seems fine. Got the Yakuber here. And so, like, this is what I was saying. The real... If you're a casual... Let's say you're a casual gamer. Like me, because I'm honestly pretty casual. I can go hardcore sometimes, but I'm pretty casual. Let's say I want to play this game, and, I don't want to grind it out. I just want to keep looking for a good location to build my base. I can just follow the roads and stop at every camp and rest. I don't need to go and do survival game loop just to build a campsite so that I can rest. I can travel through this gigantic, procedural map and just rest at camps. And that was like the first reason that personally I was pushing for camps. And then the second reason, like I said before, is that they act as like an extension to your kingdom. You can trade. You're going to be able to trade with the villagers at each camp. You'll be able to essentially integrate the camp into your kingdom, whether informally or formally. And then lastly, something that we want to do is you'll have some villagers at camps that are battling villagers. And this will be kind of like a Pokemon duel where you go to the camp, they have a Sentius, and they say, do you want a duel? They'll walk out into the field, and you guys will duke it out. And then you won't completely dispatch them, but you will essentially fight them, and you'll either win prize money or you'll lose some money. So it's almost like a little turn. It's not turn-based; it'll be real time, but it simulates that turn-based fighting aesthetic. So you can see a fellow Stagma among us. Definitely my favorite Sentius in the in this biome so far, and you see the birch biome behind it. So Stagma are only going to spawn in birch biomes. So health doesn't regen on rest. That's true. And that's why I was saying the meditation stones or the runes are going to be where you can actually heal. So let me show you those. I'm glad you asked that because we just found one. So these runes, they spawn near hero trees. I'm calling them hero trees. In game development, a hero asset is an asset with, above like 50,000 triangles or something. Or 30,000 triangles. Because like this, this little stump here is probably like 30 triangles. So a hero asset would have 30,000 triangles. Let's see if I can cut it without issue. Because we had that bug before. Yeah, no. We're getting the harvest bug. It's alright. There's going to be bugs in this patch. It's a big patch. So there'll be hot fixes. So, Azurius Flames asked health and regen on rest. So right here, this is a rune stone, and these are going to be where you can actually heal. You can go here and heal. Because now in this update, you won't heal naturally. You have to actively eat food. Which I'm going to do right now. Alright. Let's get up here. Nice, another camp. So I don't think you guys have seen this one yet. It's kind of a cool one. And you see the villagers have a lot of the same Sentius. And the reason for that is that the domestic Sentius are usually like dogs, cows, things that villagers would normally have. And you'll see they'll react. Talk to the villager, see what she's up to. So she's talking about the local Sentius. She's saying, Magmaton are kindly beings unless provoked. So she's saying, don't mess with the Magmaton or you're gonna get, you're gonna get in trouble. Welcome, Jaden. Yeah, anyone joining the stream now, this is Villagers and Camps Update 1.0.12 from the alpha. And like I said before, the villagers, they have camps and they have their own stuff in the camps. They have a little, like she's got a meat kebab and some soup and a little backpack. And in the future, you'll be able to steal this stuff and get a little bounty on your head. Let's see. We'll add variety size for some Sentius species in the future. Yes. Yeah, so actually, it's funny you asked that, Karasu. The Stagma scale, actually, right before the patch we were about to update it, it's going to be much bigger. So Stagma is going to be like twice, like 25% bigger than this. Because you can see that the head actually clips with the antlers. It's a little too small. So Stagma are going to be much bigger. Kind of like, it's called Megalorosos. It's an extinct elk species from like Northern Europe. They were like that big in real life. So yeah, there's going to be some variation in Sentius color as well as size eventually. But for now, it's fixed. So since there's some people who haven't seen, I'm going to do some Yagi combat. I'm going to blow them up. This is my favorite thing to do. Very nice. And then you can see the destructive camp assets. And there's the new Yagi now. They throw axes at you, which is a new challenge. And I think there's one left. Oh no, we got him. We got all of them. And Yagi camps now feature chests, which is a much needed feature so that you can actually gain some loot from fighting the Yagi. And a cooking pot. Oh, so hostiles nearby. So if there's hostiles, you can't cook. Let's see what's near. I think it's the Magmaton. I think there's a dire pyre. That's what it is. You see dire pyre now will take some damage and play a flinch animation when taking damage. Yes, yes. Hair physics. So you can see if when the character's running, you get a little bob to it, which adds so much juice to the locomotion. Someone else said you're using real references to some of these Sentius, Arc. Oh, excellent. Yeah. So basically, I'm a history and especially animal evolutionary history nerd. And I love learning about all that stuff. So basically, Magmaton is like a North American bison, as you might imagine, or the European bison, since we're in a Viking Northern Europe setting. And this whole biome is based off Iceland. It's heavily inspired by Iceland. You can see with the big rocks, it looks almost like Death Stranding. And the other Sentius, the dire pyre, is based off the dire wolf, which is another extinct species from Northern Europe. So I do try to implement, when we're designing Sentius, me and Bisloba, our lead creature designer, we do try to keep history in mind so that, you don't have something that looks super out of place. That being said, obviously it is a fantasy game, so, there are exceptions to that. I think there's a camp up here. Let's see. Camp discovered. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Our first villager with a Magmaton. Oh, no, I think we saw one before. Can't talk to Magmaton, but you see it's tracking my head there. And let's see what's down here. Oh, that's it. Oh boy. All right, let's try it again. Yeah, I didn't realize I was too low on health. I had to eat some food. See, that's what I was saying, is that now that there's no auto health regen, you really have to be a little more cognizant of what your health is and start eating food. All right, we'll load in one more time. Try to get some new locations for you guys, and then we'll probably call a stream so we can get some more patches out for you. Just reading some comments here. Tejas, if you're listening, actually, we were talking about the bobbing issue. It seems to be fully resolved because the user who pointed it out said it looks better. So that's a good sign. And building world is longer than last build now that so now that we have all these new locations, the engine takes longer to build the world, which is to be expected. Nick, how are we looking on retention?
Still remains good. Lost a little bit, but not too much.
I'm going to do a fresh... Yeah, I'm going to do a fresh restart from the menu.
Show a little bit more locations and call it.
All right. Yeah, we'll do some more locations, then we'll hop out. But strangely, I don't hear any sound. So I'm going to just do a fresh start here. Bear with me. There we go. Jaden says, cannot wait to play when it comes on Xbox. Fantastic. We are excited to release on Xbox. We just got through the onboarding process, so we're going to be setting up our store page for Xbox soon, and fingers crossed Xbox Alpha will take place this year, the first alpha test, so we'll keep you posted on that. You know, Xbox is very similar. If you guys are backers or, you know, expecting keys for consoles, as a reminder, every console backer is eligible for a free Steam key. So if you have backed the game for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and you have a PC or Steam Deck, let us know. We'll give you a free Steam key, complimentary. But as for a developer's perspective, Xbox is more similar to PC, as one would imagine, since Microsoft owns Windows and Xbox. So it's a lot easier to port a game to Xbox than it is, if it's a Windows game, than it is to port the game to, say, PlayStation. So the order of operations for consoles that we're planning currently is probably going to be Xbox, followed by PlayStation, followed by Switch, because Switch is the most complicated, as it's the most restricted device. But we will see. You know, the PlayStation challenge is going to be similar in the sense that it's a much different architecture than Xbox or PC. Someone said, I think before, make a farm of the pets. Yeah, you could. You will be able to breed the Sentius and, in theory, make like a farm. So we haven't seen the stone village yet. I'm thinking maybe we try to find that this playthrough. We've only seen the. We've only seen the birch village and the oak village, so let's see if we can find the rock village. Yeah, someone asked, will it be playable on Steam Deck? Yeah, we already have a Steam Deck branch live. It's an older version of the game, 1.0.9.1 I believe, but it runs at maximum 40 FPS, pretty stable, and you can actually, if you have the Steam Alpha key, you can already follow the instructions. There's a whole Steam Deck guide on that. And then someone said, Christopher said, happy to hear that. Whole family waiting to play on Xbox. That's great to hear, Christopher. I appreciate you backing the game and being patient while we develop it. So I really appreciate that. Let's see. A little stutter as we enter some new tiles here. And so you guys see the render scale here. I mean, if you go too low, it's going to look very grainy, but this uses a technology from AMD that upscales the game, helps it run better. And we did increase the mounted speed quite a bit, and I personally love it. It was... Oh, not trying to fight Stagma right now or Dire Pyre. But yeah, the mount of speed's way faster now. Which is kind of necessary. The map's too big to have a slow mount. Because the current version just goes on forever. It doesn't even end. But as probably a lot of you guys probably know, the way that spawning is going to work is you're going to have 5 biomes and then an ocean that goes on forever. You'll be able to pick the size of the map, you know, small, medium, large, for example. See some villagers. So you'll see villagers walking around. They're just wandering villagers. You'll be able to recruit them to your village, your kingdom eventually, but for now, they just walk around. And also, villagers from other biomes will have unique trade options. So, let's say, oh, here's a village, or a camp. We've seen this one already. We'll just keep going on the road. Another camp down there. I have noticed that in this build, I've noticed that camps have been spawning kind of like the same camp will spawn 3 or 4 times within a small radius, which is interesting. Rather than completely unique camps. I'm going to take care of this Dire Pyre. I was insulted by that howl. Space Links wanting the game so bad. Well, Space Links, we are giving away some keys today, so maybe today will be your lucky day. If you don't mind me asking, Space Links, how did you hear about the game? Oh, and I appreciate the comment about the Sentius sounds. I do the sound design, and I try to keep the sounds realistic but gamified. That's kind of my philosophy there. There, we got it. We did it, guys. So that is the rock mining village. So let's get up there. You can see a weird artifact with the flames still. Oh, fantastic. So you've been following for quite a while. So we just found the mining village. And I'll just repeat it one more time. But basically, the way villages spawn is that they'll have a lean. So a village will either be it will lean towards different type of production. So either wheat production, food production, wood production, stone production. And that plays into the city building game loop where you're going to be incentivized to diversify your villages. You know, maybe you have one village that has a lean that you've claimed towards mining, and that will contribute to your total stone output. But then you may have another village that is pushing out a lot of wood. And this is kind of one of those things that people do when they're playing a city building game is, you know, you have like different smaller settlements that have a lean based on the local resources. So that's what this is. All right, sweet. We found the village, so let's go check it out. Village discovered. And again, there's a little hiccup. All those villagers spawning is going to take up some performance. You can see they're all actually almost all traveling villagers. They're just put in as test subjects. But these are going to be locals in the future. Let's check out the town hall. If I can get in. There we go. So yeah, we've got, this will be the tavern keep, the shop keep. You'll be able to buy local goods. I got some villagers hanging out. Some villagers sleeping. You'll be able to buy a bed for the night, and that'll cost a certain amount of resources. I'll put on the cinematic camera. pretty happy with how the interiors came out. Again, they're simple. It's the first era, so it's a little primitive. Yeah, that step there, that's a bug. Gotta report that. Gotta, like, jump over it. So, yeah, guys, let's actually check out the mining depot here. Because, like I was saying, there's an actual resource production hub here. You can see how the village is kind of littered with stone and big rock assets. And then here is actually... Oh, there's actually another Sentius, which is not animated, unfortunately. That's a bug. Track that. But this is another Sentius. Oh, sorry, let me just track this bug here. So, yeah, this is Lionarch, which is going to be another tameable Sentius. And Sentius will actually work for the villagers. So here you see we have a big mining depot. And this villager's trying to talk to me. So we've got this big mining depot, and then this Sentius may actually help the villagers by, you know, picking up stones or, you know, doing something like that. And now it is nighttime. And these dudes are from my biome, because this character I'm playing is from the Deep Forest biome. Someone said want to hug every Sentius so far. Well, that means we've done something right, because they should be formidable, but also, you know, cute and desirable. You want to catch them all. And I think, oh, what am I? There's a void in the village. Oh, we can't have that. And so this is just a void who spawned in here, I think. But void are actually gonna raid your village, so you'll be like in the village, hanging out with the villagers, and then out of a sudden, there's going to be a raid event, and then a bunch of void are going to try to destroy the whole village, and that's going to be part of the Shoei Void update. And that'll incentivize you to reinforce your villagers, you know, get guards at the doors and stuff like that. So the same villager guards that are going to hunt you down for a bounty are going to protect the other villagers. Oh, so this is interesting. He says, I'm not far from this land, but we know the same shores. So he's saying the coastal ocean biome is right next to this biome, and that's where this guy's from. Obviously, you can't go there just yet. And, yeah, nighttime, you're going to have villagers go to night behaviors, go inside. Some villagers will stay outside. It's going to be a lot quieter at night. Right now, they're all just walking around statically. And... oh, someone said... yeah, so someone asked about joining the Void side. So that's a little far out. As far as like the story goes in the survival game mode, you're not really going to be playing as Void, but in the PvP arena, yes, you may be going out and, you know, attacking players' villages that are Shoei-based with your Void army and just, you know, annihilating them. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, is that if you could pick to be Void, you're just doing all the things the Void would do, infecting the land, infecting villagers, taking over villages, that kind of stuff. And then someone said, gate kept by class. So for class, all classes will be able to use some of the same features. So all classes will be able to, for example, all classes will be able to use a basic bow and arrow, a basic melee weapon, maybe even a basic, you know, staff or something like that. But anything specialized, like a two-handed weapon, a longbow, an actual full mage staff, all that stuff's going to be class locked. And the reason for that, and also dynasty locked, some of it too. So like, you're not going to be able to, if you're Draconian Dynasty, you're not going to be able to equip and use every single item from the other dynasties, because we want you to, you know, have multiple save files and really experience the game through each dynasty, through each class. It's like a whole different game, you know. So some of that stuff will be locked. But generally speaking, I mean, if you pick any class, you'll still be able to do melee combat, you know. You'll still be able to do those basic things. All right. I am going to call it on this stream. We've kind of shown you guys everything. You can see the villages, camps, villagers, new Yagi camps, new mounts. So yeah, guys, as always, we always want to reiterate how much we appreciate everyone's support, patience while we get this thing done. And you can look forward to a hotfix between this and 1.0.13. We will be posting a trailer next week for the Villagers and Camps update. And with that, guys, just stick around for the news updates and let us know what you thought, you know. And if you are playing the alpha, you can post your bug logs on Steam, any good seeds you find, and we will be in touch. So until next time, climbers out. We will see you guys in the next live stream. Peace out.